Welcome to the Trello presentation for the PMI Sioux Empire, South Dakota chapter. Today we will cover an introduction of our chapter and then discuss why we are here to socialize the use of Trello within our chapter and the benefits we have realized. After the introduction, we will explore Trello by explaining our organization and board structure. Finally, we will close with a couple of demonstrations to show how Trello is used to achieve results through effective communication and collaboration. My name is Travis Anderson, and I am the Director of Finance for our chapter, and my co-presenter is Jim Reich. He is our President-elect for our chapter. About a year and a half ago, Kendra Simmonsma, our now chapter president, asked if I would accept the responsibilities of Finance Director, which, by the way, was previously held by Jim Reich, so I have some pretty big shoes to fill. Kendra and Jim are real visionaries, and they sold me on an idea. That idea was to help evolve the board business model to a more operational status. Coming from a background of implementing earned value management systems, I knew I could provide value towards that idea. There's nothing more rewarding than being a part of a team with a common vision and equal determination to provide professional value to our membership and the local industries we serve. The PMI Sioux Empire, South Dakota chapter is comprised of about 200 plus members from a broad range of industries. We offer our membership with quality programs and development opportunities, all of which are executed through volunteers. With having such a strong base of volunteers, we needed a way to ensure our programs and development initiatives were planned, communicated, and executed in a collaborative manner. That is why we are here today to socialize the benefits of implementing Trello into your operational model. So before I start talking about what Trello is and how we use it, I'd like to ask a few questions and set the scene. Have you ever experienced chain emails that are hard to follow? Sometimes information is lost and communication suffers. Communication is one of the most important aspects of managing and leading effectively. Not having a communication plan can lead to unintended results, causing negative experiences for your volunteers. Trello has helped alleviate the communication problem. People can subscribe to boards, lists, and cards to stay informed, know when a new task is added, moved, or someone leaves a comment. They can add discussion board lists to centralize communications on a given initiatives. Download the Trello app on your phone, and you can always stay informed with the progress that your team is making. The only word of caution is to apply subscriptions wisely, as not to get lost in the vast amounts of push communications or notifications you receive, and therefore the communication becomes somewhat useless because you get drowned with so much information. Also understand the source of truth. Trello is not a document repository for us, so we use Dropbox. So we do attach files and links to Trello, but the primary source of truth for some of our key artifacts is Dropbox and not Trello. So you have to kind of establish some ground rules with this. So instead of uploading the document to Trello, maybe provide the URL instead that links you to Dropbox. So another question I kind of want to throw to you is, so do your actions link to your strategy, and how do you know your strategy is being implemented as planned? The span of your strategy and the amount of resource capacity will determine the amount of discipline and rigor needed to initiate, plan, execute, and monitor those initiatives. Once the span of control moves beyond 4 people, complexity and risk expands exponentially. The vision and the goals become diluted, key dates are missed, motivation suffers, so on and so on. We all know the drill. So Trello kind of helps us link our initiatives to the strategy by using the Trello boards as our initiatives under each Trello organization. We can access these, and we can control access to these, and we can ensure that the right people have involvement or the right access so they can begin their initiating, planning, and execution and the monitoring of those initiatives. So there's some key benefits that we kind of want to highlight here as we describe Trello and how we use it. So what is Trello? So some of the benefits and what Trello is is that it's an online product management and collaboration system. It was produced by Frog Creek Software, and it utilizes a Kanban system to improve productivity. So if you aren't familiar with Kanban, it basically talks about a to-do, doing, done, or uh, if you're into Agile, you're going to have a backlog, you're going to have a queue, you're going to have in process, you're going to have done. It kind of helps you manage the work in flow, so you can kind of get a flow system or a pull system, and kind of know where accountability is, and kind of map and make sure that everything's kind of flowing and to done. So some of the benefits that I've already kind of talked about is that it has easy access. If you have internet and you have a browser, or even if you don't have internet, if you have LTE on your phone, you can get access to it. Just download the app. It's free and it's unlimited, and they say it's free forever. So hopefully they stick to their word. Several other tools aren't free that are kind of Kanban based. One, for example, is Lean Kit. It's free up to 10, but you are limited on users, and then after that, you have to start paying a price. And the other thing that I really like about the tool is that it is collaborative. You can really share a lot of information, and you can really progress things along, and you don't have to worry about these long emails and getting things lost. Everything pertains to the scope or the work or the card that you're working on, or the board or the initiative you're working on. And if you aren't hooked up, and if you're busy like a lot of us are, you'll get notifications. So when you log in, you'll see a little red bell, and it'll tell you what's going on, and if you've subscribed to a board, or if you've been assigned to a card, you'll get those notifications. And it's also eco-friendly, so it kind of keeps you from wasting paper. I know a lot of the Kanban systems, tools don't solve everything. There is the old post-it note and drawing it on a marker board and running that through. That works fine too, but if you're a virtual team, this is the next best thing to using something like that. And then it also helps with the time management and accountability. You can put some due dates on there. You can work with your teammates. You can put names on there so you know who's working on it, when it's due, what it's about, and you can just kind of keep progressing that thing along, what state it's in terms of your value stream on your Kanban. So there is a lot of value there, and quite a bit of benefits that we've realized. So the organizational structure and the board structure is really key. It could be done many different ways depending on the use of how you need to do it. The organizations are basically groups of people or boards that you want to kind of set up and use for collaborating. The organizations, essentially, you could invite certain members to it. So then, when you do create boards, it's more of a contained list of people, and you can assign those, and in case you have different initiatives going on. And then the boards themselves, I like to view those as kind of either products or projects or initiatives, depending on kind of the nature of your work. But that organizational structure is something that you kind of need to define for your area. But it's a collection of lists, and the lists themselves contain cards. So if you look at the little picture I have here, the board is what's demonstrated here, of which you have these vertical kind of Kanban lists that you will set up. And you can make those lists however you want. The standard default is to do, doing, done. And we'll show you some different ways that we've augmented that based on kind of what we do. And then the Trello card itself is kind of like a task. So if you're in Microsoft Project, this would be an activity or a task that you'd do. So you'd try to make it action-based. You'd assign people to it. You'd put a scope description. What does done look like? When's it due? And you can add all kinds of stuff into that. So we'll explore those a little bit more in a bit. So this is our personal organization and board structure for the PMI. We have some standard kind of keeping the lights on kind of organizations. So the administration is where we kind of control our website, the O&M or operations and maintenance, or financial and planning, making sure we balance the checkbook, that kind of stuff. Standard board meetings and how we communicate, any general announcements that we have overall, and then any strategic planning that we do, we kind of conduct that in that organization and in those boards. The governance board and development board are comprised of several things, as you can see, are our two contributions, the charter work that we do, any board development or bylaws that we have to work with. And then anything after that is really tied to our strategy. So our strategy this year happened to be more volunteer engagement. So using the symposium as kind of our impetus or kind of our pet project to go and engage our volunteer community. We have a board set up for those. So they can't see the rest of this organization and board structure when they log into Trello. All they will see is volunteer engagement and then 2014 symposium. And then after that, we had a white paper that we needed to do and kind of understand our symposium strategy long term, some things that we're working there and the results that came out of that. And then it's our programs and events. So we made that a 2.0. That's a standard thing that we do. Each month we'll set up an event and we will copy it from a template, so it's a lot easier, and I'll demonstrate that in a little bit. So with that, our first demo is going to be the chapter events, and I'll show you how we can copy a board, get it up and going, kind of show you around a little bit and how we've set up our Kanban and how we use that. And it makes it real easy for setting this stuff up. There's a lot of work involved with our chapter events. Our director of programs and development has done an amazing job. There's a lot of things to do here. So you'll see our task list and our color coding and labels and that kind of stuff. And then I'll conclude, or I'll do the second demo, I guess, for the symposium. Our symposium is where our volunteer engagement strategy took place. We have many volunteers. They've done an amazing job. It's really been rewarding and fun to watch everybody work together. So this is kind of one of our big events. It's very high profile. It's definitely volunteer driven, and it's very collaborative in nature. So, and then we'll close with questions if you have anything. And then I left our website here in case you guys want to come in and kind of explore our website and see how we run things from a website perspective. So with that, this is our main website, and you can kind of see that we are 200 plus members. We're at 219 now. We are holding a symposium, and with this symposium, we get a bunch of volunteers together, and they work collaboratively. They have lots of activities in here. So that second demo will kind of talk about how we've got to this point. A lot of work goes into this. A little bit more on Trello itself. Trello is a great tool. So if I go back up to the top here, it's simple on the surface. So basically it's talking about that Kanban methodology. Set your board up. So in this case, the board's the Great Kitchen redesign. And you can make this either public or private. Set up your board, your lists here, and start adding pictures and all kinds of stuff. So if you look, here's a card. If I were to open it up, you'd see we could add an attachment to it picture-wise, and it shows as the header, and then what's the title. They have a little label here and kind of who's assigned to it. There's all kinds of things you can do here. Add a checklist, you can put due dates, add attachments. You can move the card right here versus grabbing it and pulling it over. You can actually move it from within the card. If you want to subscribe to this card, even though you're not the person that's assigned to it, you can subscribe to it just to stay informed. You can leave comments. You can archive it when you're done, so you don't have to worry about sifting through your trash. And then you can invite people here. So once you get your organization set up, you'll be in good shape in terms of when you build boards and you add cards, just those people that are a part of that organization will be assigned to anything that you build. And then as you build those cards, you can leave comments like I was saying. Once you add a comment, you can edit those if you had to. And then if you're subscribed, you'll get notified. And you can tell that by this little red bell if you're on your phone or if you're on your computer. Once you log in, you'll know, hey, these are the different comments or the different things that have happened. Somebody's moved a card or somebody's added a comment. So just be careful with how you subscribe to things. So only subscribe, as value add is required. And like I said, there is a checklist feature, so you can get a kind of a % complete. And then there's this calendar power up. I'll demonstrate that and show you how that works and how you can use an API and link that right to your iCalendar or whatever you have. So Frog Creek is the organization, like I said, that did create this, and I am so thankful that they did because I really do love Trello. It's a very powerful project management tool, so I hope you guys enjoy it. So if we go into our Trello, here's our organization like I described before, and what I want to be able to show to you is our programs and events. So our first demonstration, if we were to come in to our chapter event, and if I'm the program and development director, I will come here first. I'll kick this thing open and I'll look at my menu and then I'll copy this board. And when I copy the board, it gives me the ability to do a October event. And it's going to be a part of this organization. If I wanted to copy this and make it a part of a different organization, I sure could, but in this case I won't. And it gives me an option to keep the card so I don't have to redo everything, and then I'll create that. So now that I've created that, you can tell I'm in the October event, and the first thing I'll do is I'll change this, and we'll change the title, and we'll say October event is Thursday the 9th at such and such a place, and you can set that up to depending on where it's at. Save that, any descriptions, you can go from there. And the rule that we had is we told people once we create this to come in and subscribe to this board itself, because it is the discussion board, so I'll subscribe to it. And that way if she does anything within this and adds a discussion topic, I'll get notified of it. And so we'll describe who the presenter is, and then we'll ask, hey, is anybody there to kind of help set up? But then after that, the real value in this is all the stuff that goes into an event. These are, I can't understate the amount of work that goes into one of these things, and we do about 10 of these a year. And so we really do have a good programs and development director. But if you take a look, these different colors indicate, or these labels indicate, you know, the amount of work that goes into this prior. So this is anything in green is 6 months, anything yellow is, you know, and as we get closer to the event, it's going to be changing colors to, you know, more towards red, and then you kind of go down from there. And then you can assign people to these, and they'll be notified of the tasks that they need to do. So normally, being a finance director, she'll come in here and make sure that I'm doing my financial responsibilities, and then I'll manage those to done. So that's the kind of the crux of what we do there. And if you wanted to, for example, you have people over here, you would drag them over and assign them to a card. So if we're to go over here and find the one that I do, it's going to be, I forget which one it is here. Oh, right there it is. All right, so we'll get that one set up to me, and then I'll know that that's me. And if I wanted to change that, I could go in here and change that and take the member off and uncheck that, so that way we don't have to worry about that. You can change all kinds of stuff here, add some descriptions, that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that you can come up with. Maybe your activity list is different. If you want a copy of this activity list, I'm sure if you got a hold of Jim or I, or if you go out to our website and contacted our programs director, she'd be willing to kind of share that list with you. So it's always good to kind of share these different tricks across the trade. So, but that's basically the crux of what we do for the programs board and the different lists and the different cards that we have. And so now I'm going to switch over to the symposium. So to go back, I need to go back to the Trello boards here, and you'll notice this will return me to kind of my home page. And then I'll go into the 2014 symposium. In the symposium, you can see we have a lot of action going on here. We have team communications, we have the minutes that go along with this. And if you notice, we go into one of these, you'll be able to see here's all the different artifacts that we needed to discuss and share. So we open this in Dropbox. So remember, I was talking about the source of truth. This points out to Dropbox where we keep the minutes. So it's not here, it's actually stored somewhere else, so we don't lose that legacy. But we have risk management here. So we have doing and done, and then the different organizations. So if I scroll across, you can see I have several things that I need to do for this. But the really neat thing about this tool is this power up. So if we go into the slide bar and we go into the menu, and you should see this power up. And in this power up, you can turn different things on. If you want to vote, if you want to have the calendar enabled, or if you want aging, so if somebody hasn't touched a card, it starts crackling or turning gray, or you can kind of see what's kind of been hanging out too long and drying out, so to speak. But this power up right here is pretty neat. So you can see a different calendar, and if you wanted to click on the card, you sure could. And the due dates, it'll bring you right into that card. You can comment on it, close it out, and you can operate from this. But the other important thing is that it is something that you can use an API with and link it to your calendar. So I've already done that in my Google Calendar, and I already have it set up here. And you can see I got these different cards that are on my calendar with the due dates. And so if I were to go into the PDU, I could click right here, open it up, get my details, and if I wanted to open that card right from my email, it takes me right into Trello. I'm up and going. I can leave a comment, and I can do this all through API. So it's very powerful. I know the team here has worked really hard. They've done a lot of work, as you can tell, and we're going to deliver a very successful symposium. So with that said, that is basically the essential structures that we have. If you notice, remember I was talking about the members and the organizations, kind of bouncing around here a little bit, I apologize, but you can invite the certain members. I was showing you that. But with all this said, there's just so much to cover, and I don't have enough time to really show you all these things. So once you get your Trello account, once you determine that this is what you want to do for your operation, come on over here, come over to the help, and there's a plethora of videos and tutorials and different things that you can look at and to learn and use this tool. It's very intuitive, it's very easy to use, and I highly recommend it. So with that, I'd like to open it up for questions. I'll stop the video and I'll let Jim address any of those. So, and if you do have any questions or anything that you want to get back to me on personally, go to our website. It's www.pmisd.org. Come to the About Us board members, and when you come into here, you should be able to see my name, Travis Anderson. And if you want to leave an email, just go ahead and enter your name in here, and I'll be happy to collaborate with you and answer any questions that you may have. So with that said, Jim, would you mind taking over? Thank you.